So what's happening, people? It's me again, Courtney, doing my MMA predictions. I predict. UFC 137, which will take place on Saturday the 29th of October at the Mandalay Bay Event Centre. I'm pointing west. In the US of A. In Las Vegas. I've been looking forward to this card for a while. Originally, the original card anyway, was supposed to be GSP versus Nick Diaz. That got scrapped after Nick Diaz didn't turn up to the pre-fight conference. He got dropped from the main bout. Carlos Condit stepped up and said, "Yes, I'll fight my team. I don't care. It's a title. I want the title. You know, instead of being like one of those AKA guys like Josh Koscheck or John Fitch or Mike Swick, don't want to fight each other. You know, Carlos Condit said, I don't give a damn. I'll fight GSP. I want a belt." So he stepped up. Nick Diaz originally got thrown off the card actually. Then they said no, fight BJ Penn, so that's a wicked fight in itself anyway. GSP gets injured last week. I'm not sure what he was doing. Probably playing croquet or something like that, and you know, got injured off the card. I thought they were going to find a replacement for him, but they didn't. So Carlos Condit, no fight. So the bout got completely scrapped. So the main event is BJ Penn versus Nick Diaz for this card, which I'm pretty excited about anyway. Whichever way you look at it, if you would have mixed up any of those four fighters, you would have got a good fight anyway. So it doesn't matter to me too much. If I had a ticket, I would have been pissed. But anyway, I'll start at the bottom with the main card. There's only 4 fights on the main card at the moment. I don't know what they're going to put onto the main card. But if you're looking for suggestions, Dana White and the production crew, Joe Silva, Dennis Seaver versus Donald Cerrone, put that on the main card. That would be a wicked fight. Donald Cerrone will win. Not sure how, but he'll win. Anyway, from the main card at the moment, at the bottom we have Hatsu Hayoki, 5'11", and according to John Petit from UFCBetting.com, MMA recap, he's minus 350. He's got 24-4-2 record. Excuse me. And he's on a 4-fight winning streak at the moment. This is his UFC debut. His debut. He's the former Shooto lightweight champion, former Sengoku featherweight champion, and the former TKO featherweight champion as well. Although he was the last one to win that title. This guy is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Very well rounded. Likes the submissions, mounted triangles particularly. You know, he's a really exciting fighter, and I'm hoping he does big things in the UFC. He's beat Mark Hominid, Jeff Curran, Marlon Sandro, Rumina Sato. He's beat a number of guys, Lion Takeshi. He's beat them up, man. He's a really, really good fighter, and I'm hoping he beats George Roop. His last fight was a win against Marlon Sandro by a submission. His last 5 fights are 4 wins and 1 loss. This guy's never been finished. Take note. He's fighting George Roop, who's 6'1". He's got 12-7-1 record, and he's plus 269. Not too much to say about this guy. He's also a fighter veteran. He's tough. Maybe a bit too frail at this weight, man, because he's 6'1" and he's 145 pounds. That's skinny. I thought Ken Flo was bad. Kenny Florio looked like a flipping rake. He looked like, you know, I can't even find anything in there to show you, but he looked like a rake. That's what he looked like. But anyway, George Roop, taller, skinnier. His last fight was a win against John Grisby. He beat him by a punch to the body, I think it was, yeah. His last 5 fights had 2 wins, 2 losses and 1 draw. For this fight, I think Hatsuyoki is going to win the fight, possibly submit him. No, but I think he will submit George Roop. George Roop got submitted by George Sotoropoulos quite easily, and I think Hayoki will do the same. And I hope he does, because we need some Japanese fighters winning the UFC, doing well. Next fight on the card is Mirko Filipovic versus Roy Nelson. Who's Mirko Filipovic, you're thinking? Crow Cop. Former Pride Absolute Champion, 27-9-2 record. He's 6'2" and he's plus 250. Crow Crop, a shade of the Crow Crop from Pride and K1. If you type it onto YouTube or any search, look for Crow Crop doing a left high kick. Deadly. He's got decent hands, good takedown defense, could throw through more combinations. His last fight was a loss against Brendan Schwab, got KO'd. His last 5 fights, he's had 2 wins and 3 losses. But he's fighting big country Roy Nelson, who's 6 foot, 15 and 6 record. He's minus 290 in the odds, courtesy of John Petit and Jorge Recap. Very underrated jiu-jitsu. I don't know if it's underrated, but people just don't realise he's got badass jiu-jitsu. I think he's a black belt as well. He's got good hands for his very heavy hands. Decent wrestling, but his cardio, a bit shaky. I always refer to him as the Sammo Hung of MMA because you look at him and you think, oh, he can't do anything. Then he just goes and twists you up with an armbar. His last fight was a loss to Frank Mir, and his last 5 fights he's had 2 wins and 3 losses. I ain't going to say too much about this fight, but I think Roy Nelson's going to win quite easily. He'll either knock out Crow Crop or submit him. Crow Crop's not going to be able to deal with him. If you would have asked me about 5 or 6 years ago, I would have said Crow Crop would have smashed the living hell out of Roy Nelson, but not now, I tell you, not now. Roy Nelson to win. Next fight on the card is Czech Congo versus Matt Mitrione. Czech Congo, his name's not Czech. Somebody please find his proper name. His name is not Czech. I've seen it on the UFC before. It's something beginning with Q. Someone tell me it's Kuango or something. It's got some long name. I think you should use that. Czech Congo. Sounds like some. I can't even say what I think he sounds like. But anyway, he's plus 140 on the odds. He's 6'4". He's got 16-6-2 record. Czech Congo, decent Muay Thai, decent hands, well, heavy hands. You know, he's another one, again, he doesn't throw much combinations. He's got decent takedown defense. I don't know if he's got any jiu-jitsu at all. Any submission game, I don't know. I don't think he has. His last fight was a win against Pat Barry by KO. You need to go see that fight. The only place you probably could get it now is illegally via torrent or download it from the UFC, paying the UFC, download it from there. That fight was crazy. If you watch the fight, it was like Rocky. They were throwing leather. You know, Rocky gets battered, but it comes out with a knockout. That's how it was. But his last 5 fights, there 2 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. But he's fighting Matt Mitrione, meathead from the Ultimate Fighter. 6'3", he's got a 5-0 record. He's the favourite at minus 152. For a heavyweight, this guy's very agile. He's got good footwork and heavy hands as well. I haven't seen his jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu submission game or his wrestling, but I think he's fairly decent. He has to use a lot of lateral movement. You know, his last win was a knockout against Moorcraft, I think it was. Yeah. His last 5 fights, he's had 5 wins. I think this guy's just grown up in the UFC basically. All his fights have been in the UFC. I think he was like a American football player. So we see American football player, Americans, Canadians of the country say football player. He used to be, I'm not sure what position he played, but I think he's a fairly decent fighter. When he was in the Ultimate Fighter, I didn't like him at all. I thought he was a bit of a dick. But, you know, he talks in the octagon and I think he's all done quite well. And also he had his little beef with Tito. That would be a good fight actually. Tito versus Matt Mitrione. Who could talk the most shit? That'd be good. But anyway, this fight, Matt Mitrione is going to win the fight. I think he's going to use the lateral movement and pick off Czech Congo and keep punching him in the head. I don't think Czech Congo is going to keep up with that. He's going to probably stalk him, probably leg kicks. But I think Matt Mitrione is going to win. Next fight on the card is the main event. BJ Penn versus Nick Diaz. BJ Penn, former welterweight champion, all-round badass. One of my favourite fighters. 5'9", he's got a 16-7-2 record. He's minus 125. Not much I can say about BJ Penn other than that. You know, his balance, boxing, jits, his clinch is decent. He's got decent kicks as well. Just ask Diego Sanchez. But yeah, his last fight was a win against, not a win, he drew against John Fitch. His last 5 fights, he's had 2 wins, 2 losses and 1 draw. In the fight against Fitch, different. He actually took down John Fitch. Fitch wasn't expecting that. It was an interesting fight. I thought it was a good technical fight. A lot of people didn't like it because of the clinching and resting, the takedowns. I thought it was a good technical fight. You can learn a lot from those sorts of fights. But he's fighting the former Strikeforce welterweight champion Nick Diaz, mean mug. 6'1", he's got a 25-7 record. He's -115. Nick Diaz, wicked boxing, good jiu-jitsu, probably some of the best cardio in MMA. You know, he's tough as well, very hard to finish, but there's a first time for everything. You know, hasn't lost since 2007. He's on a 10-fight win streak. His last fight was a win against Paul Daly via TKO. You need to watch that as well. In Strikeforce, that was one of the craziest rounds of MMA probably all year. In the last 5 years anyway. His last 5 fights had 5 wins. It's going to be an interesting fight this is, but I think that BJ Penn will probably play the jiu-jitsu game. So what I think will happen will be he will take down Nick Diaz and play within Nick Diaz's guard. He will pass, I think he'll pass Nick Diaz's guard. I think, yeah, he'll probably take him down and try and pound him out. But yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. If it doesn't, if it goes past the 3rd round, if it goes from the middle of the 2nd round to the end of the fight, Nick Diaz has a better chance of winning because of his cardio. Anytime before that, it's BJ Penn's chance. But who am I going to pick? I think if BJ Penn wants to make a difference in the welterweight division, this is his time. I think he can beat Nick Diaz, but he has to play clever. Not get caught into Nick Diaz's game with his pitter-patter punches, because them buggers hurt, boy. Not get caught in that, and just play his own game. Nick Diaz is going to do what he always does. He said that in his interviews, what he reckons he's going to do what he always does, which is, and you get punched 200, 300 times for the fight. But BJ Penn can win. If he takes him, he might take him down and play within his guard. I don't think Nick Diaz is going to submit BJ Penn. If he does, but yeah, I don't think he will. BJ Penn to win, possibly via decision. That's an odd one to pick, isn't it? When he said he wouldn't go past the middle of the 2nd round. Or TKO. There you go. Those are my picks. Those are my opinions. I train at LeicesterMMA.co.uk. If you're in the Midlands or anywhere in the UK, go and train with us. Come and train with us. Go and train with them. Check out tweetmma.co.uk, MMApundit.co.uk, LeicesterMMA.co.uk. Congratulations to Guy Lewis, a teammate that used to train with us, and LJ Adams, Xenia, on winning their categories at the No-Gi British Open. Congratulations to, who else? Erin McDougall, who won her first MMA fight. Part of the Reverse Oreo crew. You know what I mean. But anyway, those are my picks. Peace.